The Hodge twins didn't want us to see this. We on the road to 100 KOK. If you ain't hit that like button, subscribe button, and turned on all notifications, slap the dog shit about yourself, because that's the first thing you should have did when you clicked on this video. Shouts out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. Let's see what it's hitting for.
Back in 2015 is kind of when I officially started my career here on Black YouTube. And of course, at that particular time, there were a few communities. You know, you had your guys in celebrity, you had your guys, you know, doing the pro-black stuff like Sonetter, and then you had the burgeoning Black manosphere, which is what I was a part of. Now, right next to the Black manosphere were the emergence of what I consider now the Black conservative community. Guys like Anthony Brian Logan would come in 2016, I believe, Brandon Tatum around that same time, and then Candace Owens. And this was important because Donald Trump was running for president and he would win in 2016 with the Make America Great Again campaign. So there was a white space opportunity for Black conservatives. And those Black conservatives pretty much talked about the dysfunction of the Black community. Now at this time, there wasn't a whole bunch of guys talking about geopolitics, Israel. I honestly think that these Black conservatives were not even, interested in geopolitics, because the main thing that they needed to do was to talk either to the Black community about voting red or talking about the Black community. And that's what those guys did, especially guys like Brandon Tatum. Now, at the same time, the Hodge twins were not talking about politics at all.
Is that
they
right?
were doing comedy and bodybuilding. But fast forward. By the time 2020 came, Donald Trump would lose the re-election, and then Biden would be coming into office in 2021. The Black conservative community wasn't as powerful as it once was under Trump, but it was still lucrative. And just criticizing Black people all day wasn't going to be enough.
Bro, back in 2016, I didn't even know Trump was racist back in 2016. All the Black folks I knew, if you was anything but white, you did not fuck with Trump. That was my perspective back in 2016. I was 16 years old though. You know what I'm saying? But because I remember we had this little Mexican shorty. We was on the phone in this like group chat. It was like an app. I think it was some type of app, and like the whole school was on it, like going from call to call type shit, and everybody could just join random calls, and then like whoever be in there just be chilling, talking. Well, now anyways, it was me and the shorty, it was me and the homies and some shorties, and we had this Mexican shorty, right? And I remember we was watching the election live. And Trump won, and Shorty started crying. We was like, no, we ain't gonna let him take you. Oh God, hey, that was the perspective back in 2016 though.
It wasn't as powerful.
I didn't even know Black. I'm saying that to say I ain't know Black folks was on Trump's side back then, so-called conservative. You know what I'm saying?
2021. The Black conservative community wasn't as powerful as it once was under Trump, but it was still lucrative. And just criticizing Black people all day wasn't going to be enough. There actually had to be something else that needed to be done. And we saw what that change was. The culture of the conservatives changed. It got more radical. This is why you see a lot of guys like Fresh and Fit come into this space and then start collaborating with the likes of Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, and some of the guys on the geopolitical right. And then obviously the alt-right started coming in. And so the alt-right pushed the culture in extreme.
What is this I'm looking at, man? This is the problem we have. Isn't there one government? Why is there a left, a right, a conservative, an extremist, and I mean, I understand the extremist part, I guess, but I just it's too much divide, bro.
Right started coming in. And so the alt-right pushed the culture, an extreme culture, that even the Black conservatives had to make a decision. And once the Hodge twins changed their particular content strategy over to the right, they had to make a decision too. Number one, keep talking about Blacks. That was the cash cow. But number two, who would you be supporting? Israel or Palestine? Now, this doesn't seem like a big issue at the time, but yes, it is now. And guys like Brandon Tatum chose Israel.
Jesus was a Jew. Jesus is God, so that makes God a Jew.
Brandon Tatum chose Israel, and honestly, I'm gonna tell you the God's honest truth. From a YouTuber standpoint, from what I'm seeing, from what a lot of conservatives in the space are saying, it may be a decision he may regret. Now, he may be getting paid from it, and there are some people, sympathetic to him. But Brandon Tatum is not what he used to be. He doesn't get the views he used to. And because he's a black conservative, he's sensitive to changes, meaning that he can't take those shots like somebody else. I've seen Brandon Tatum literally fall off the face. Not completely, right? He still gets views, he gets money, but he doesn't have any pull amongst black conservatives like he once did, and that's because he's loyal to Israel. And pretty soon, the way he's going, he'll be out of there. Fast forward. But other guys like Candace Owens and the Hodgetwins, both groups of black conservatives, decided to go with a different strategy. They decided to roll with the conservative whites. And it's important to know that the Hodgetwins will do whatever it takes to roll with the conservative whites.
He's pandering to his base. Yeah, I guarantee it.
I thought it was more.
There is. I have
you
another
stopped
clip.
it. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to see it. You got to see it.
Yeah, I pander to my base. I pander to white people. You pander. Damn, I lost track of what I was going to say. Pander to black people. Yeah, I pander to white people, right-leaning white people. I say, I don't want to shake the boat. Sometimes I shake the boat, but yeah, it's just.
Bills got to get paid.
Bills got to get paid. I guess he got some bills too. I don't know why he's wearing this.
I know.
Because he's trying to be funny.
So right there, the Hodgetwins are saying, I will grift towards my audience and pander. That is important. Okay. Now, let me just say this in a space like what I have here with the Black YouTube commentary, Tariq Nasheed, guys that differ from probably my opinion in some of the things like Anton Daniels, Boyce Watkins, Dr. Umar. I'm just naming those guys because all of us are different in our strategy. But Anton Daniels can largely afford to say something different than, let's say, somebody like Brandon Tatum. The reason is Anton Daniels has a more built-in black audience, right? So when you have a more black audience, you don't have shocks because even if you disagree with him, you still go and watch his stuff. And then his audience is so deep and versatile, he can say what he wants to say. He's not gonna lose any subscribers, okay? However, guys like the Hodgetwins, guys like Tatum, guys like Candace Owens, they have very little room for error, all right? And so when you have very little room for error, you got to stand with your audience. And so if your audience starts to drift pro-Israel, you go pro-Israel. But if your audience goes pro-Palestine, then you go pro-Palestine. And here's an example.
That is crazy. They welcomed the Jewish people in after World War II. They accepted them as refugees, and those refugees took over that country.
Yep.
That is crazy.
That's the Hodgetwins talking about the history or their history of Israel. But also this.
Just like it was evil what those Hamas did when they flew into Israel.
Right.
And it's evil what Israel's doing to innocent people in Gaza Strip. It's just you need to be able to call evil regardless of its your correlation with your political views and how it relates to your political views. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to drop your political views and you just call a spade a spade. Yeah. I mean, you don't see the forest for the trees.
So what are we seeing here? We're seeing that black conservatives used to be used to just denigrate the black community or criticize the black community or try to foster a relationship with the right. And the issue with most black conservatives, such as Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens, they just didn't have a lot of pull to enter black America, largely because either they never grew up there or they just fell out of touch.
You can't, man, listen, you can't try to get black people with this politics shit, man. It's not gonna work, bro. It's not gonna work, man. I just found out. I did a little history research. Took myself to history class. So when the 13th Amendment came, right, there was a 3-year stretch before the 14th Amendment, which made freed slaves U.S. citizens. At that time, during the 3-year period, right, black people had an option, right? but they couldn't beat them. They couldn't beat the infrastructure. White people owned all the land for the most part. You couldn't just go and develop and go find your own land within America and then go develop it because they already had states. They already had the law. And so you literally would have to go to war with them. You can't beat them, join them. And so, after the 3-year stretch, you was a free man. But if you're living in the state, you have no laws, you have no rights. You can't buy property, you can't start a business, And so that's what fucked black people over right there, bro. Is because by the time slavery ended, this democracy, this government was already established, bro. It was already established. So whenever I say you can't win black people with this politics shit, bro, because we had to beat them to join them, bro. It's you can't win black people with this politics shit, bro. The Constitution was created. Slavery was way before they brought slaves from Europe, my nigga. Come on now. Allegedly, if niggas wasn't already here, they brought the slaves from Europe with them. And for I don't it was probably what 100 years, 150 years before the Constitution came about, and the Constitution protected slavery. So America was birthed with slavery, and you was labeled as chattel. You know what that means? That means that's a real estate term. Chattel, it means to be a cow. Think of cattle, chattel cattle. I learned that from real estate. You know what I'm saying? It's a real estate term. Whenever you buy a property out in the country and it may have chattel with it, that's the cattle. That's actually personal property, which is what a slave was. So man, you can't win black people with this politics shit, man. Fuck out of here, nigga. Black people don't care about politics, bro.
Right? Okay, so now if you have a large audience,
day to day, niggas don't care about politics.
You have to serve another purpose. You have to serve.
This is just what we have to do.
And so, because talking about blacks gets old, you need to use your audience.
And it gets deep. It gets deep because fast forward, right? We couldn't beat them, so we joined them. Anytime we tried, right? They stopped us from doing anything politically. So we couldn't beat them, join them. Then the Jim Crow laws came about. We're segregated now. Those was like state laws. So the states is what made discrimination. And that would have been the best era. But see, this is where it gets tricky, because now white people are in the same boat as black people, and they don't realize it. If you're not an elite, meaning a Donald Trump type nigga, a Charlie Kirk plant ass nigga, you're not them, bro. You're not them. You're in the same boat as everybody else at this point in history, at this point in time, because once they see, it's all a master plot, bro. That 3-year stretch was the best stretch. They had to hurry up and come with that 14th Amendment. And it didn't make black people U.S. citizens. It made anybody who was born here a U.S. citizen. So after, the Jim Crow laws came about, they're still terrorizing black success because now we're within their system succeeding. We're building Wall Streets, communities, and they're envious of that. So they're still fucking with us. But listen, back in that 3-year stretch, right? You couldn't be forced, abused. You couldn't be forced to be a slave. But there was nothing nobody could have done to stop anything from happening to you as a black person in that 3-year stretch. So when the Jim Crow laws came about, right? It had you separated but so-called equal, right? Black people was then able to buy property, to have their own schools. It's all an orchestrated plot. That was a terrible era for white people. That's why they done what they done and destroyed Tulsa. See, now they realize that, man, we can't be segregated and give them the same rights as us. Man, man, we need to end segregation so that now we have, see, the government is all about control. See, back in those times, you got to think, bro. If you wanted to build something, you wanted to be rich, you wanted to be, you had to go to war, you had to kill, you had to do shit to other people, you had to force them to do stuff. You know, so I understand it back then. Not justifying slavery, but I'm saying you got to think of the perspective back then. It was about control. If I can control you, I can get what I want. You'll build up a whole city for me. You know, slavery didn't just start in America, of course, but America's slavery was the worst. So I'm not understanding these black folks, bruh. So when segregation ends, now you get to go to the white school. Now we get to teach our history. We set the curriculums. We set the standards. We make the test. We make the textbooks. The same textbooks that been, man, you go to a school, man, I'm from Oklahoma. We like last in education, bro. I guarantee you the same books that I was looking at in elementary are still there. Maybe not. But it's gonna be a copy and paste version of it, just newer. Come on now. They not upgrading to teaching no history. I'm from Oklahoma. I'm from Tulsa. I didn't grow up in Tulsa. I grew up in Muskogee. They didn't teach us jack shit about Black Wall Street. So I'm wondering if they even taught that shit in Tulsa. I'm sure some of the black schools out there probably did teach that shit. You know what I'm saying? But the school that I went to, Oklahoma, that was not in there at all. I didn't know about it till I was 20 years old. Come on now.
Suffice what an agenda is. You have to serve.
So you can miss black people with this politics shit, bro. We're not going.
You have to serve a geopolitical purpose. And so because talking about blacks gets old, you need to use your audience to suffice what an agenda is. If the agenda is pro-Israel, you're forced into that conversation as a black conservative. Whereas 10 years ago, that was above your pay grade. Candace Owens literally has been forced into it, largely because she worked for Daily Wire and then changed her mind and got fired. Okay, the Hodgetwins, largely these guys, in my honest opinion, are not even gifted or educated enough to talk about anything geopolitically at all. I mean, if you listen to these guys talk, they should be talking about wrestling. But anyways, the Hodgetwins are talking about the Jews a lot. And they also do podcasts with people who dislike their existence. They've worked with Jake Shields. They've worked with white supremacist David Duke. So the Hodgetwins will do anything to keep the bag up. They will interview people who dislike their existence. Yes, Nick Fuentes. They will bring on white supremacists onto their podcast and literally talk about the Jews or the Jewish community. That's how much grifting it is. However, for them, staying loyal to whites is the most important thing. This is where I honestly feel that Brandon Tatum differs here, okay? And this is more of a risk for him. Brandon Tatum defending Israel, and this is not me giving my own personal opinion about Israel-Palestine. I don't really get into that, but it's going against the grain because so many conservatives do not feel what Brandon Tatum feels towards Israel. All of them that I see that are popular on X, extreme groups, are pro-Palestine. Brandon Tatum, in my opinion, will lose a lot of his core following that are white people that are believing in that there's some injustice going on. He's going to end up losing those people in the next 2 to 3 years and will probably almost have no views.
Nigga pulling 100K a video. Nigga, what are you talking about? Niggas pulling 100K, $500,000 there, 200 there, $250,000 there. Well, he got 30K on that one. 100K, 367, 100K, 461. That nigga going crazy. That nigga go crazy.
He'll have the big audience, but not so many views. On the other hand, the Hodgetwins, their playbook is stay wherever the whites are at. Stay loyal to the whites. White conservatives, usually anti-transgender. What is Hodgetwins? Anti-transgender. They're anti-Israel. What is the Hodgetwins? Anti-Israel, right? It's a
I can never follow the crowd, bro.
Copy and paste book. And as long as they have that, they're always gonna get paid.
I want to see these niggas
They're
take
always in
these hats off, bro. I know their haircuts is atrocious.
have money doing a lot of low effort work, and this is the grift. Don't go against what white people want. You're not thinking out of the box. You're not talking about stuff that is unique. Like if you look at somebody like Auburn Preach, I talked about them. They're not afraid to challenge their audience. They're not afraid to challenge ideas. They're not afraid to go against the grain. Even somebody like me, I will challenge ideas and go against the grain. It's much easier for me to do that. But again, with these guys, they understand all it takes is one mistake. One mistake with the white conservatives, and then guess who starts getting called racist names? They do. They will start getting disrespected utterly like never.
Man, I made that Fresh and Fit video and I posted a clip. And they commented on the clip. White folks is coming to the clip and laughing at the white man calling the black woman a ER on Fresh and Fit. They kicked her off the show and he said, "Get the fuck out of here. You." In it's white. Listen, it's white. That's Fresh and Fit. They both they African immigrants. They even had a third black dude on there. All the people who run the show in the background are black. And they let the white, he asked, "Can I call her? Should I call her this as she walks out?" "Yeah, I'll do it with you." And their audience is white. So they think it's white people that's watching them, these black folks that do this shit, they think that they can say it. They can call you that and it's okay. It's they doing some shit, bro. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not. You gonna get somebody flatlined out here.
Before, and they risk losing all of their money because the one
These
thing
type
that's
black
for sure,
folks, they gonna get somebody, especially the Fresh and Fit, they gonna get somebody flatlined out here, bro. You want to call somebody a monkey and a gorilla and an ER and a what? You gonna get flatlined yourself, bro. Cause it's black folks that'll fuck you up for doing that shit. Yeah, you're black. You can so you think you can say it. It's the way you're going about it though. You're making it cool for white people to do that. You're making black people look bad. Actually, you know what I'm saying?
A conservative white audience, while it's lucrative, once you lose it, you always lose it. With the blacks, we forgive. You can come back, get yourself right, we'll forgive you eventually. But with the white conservatives, never. He ain't lying. Once you're done forever. So guys, what do you think it's your boy Jackson?
You ain't lying. Hey man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. We on the road to 100K, okay? If you ain't hit that like button, subscribe button, and turn on all notifications, slap the dog shit about yourself. Because that's the first thing you should have did when you clicked on this video. If you made it to the end of this video and you bored, check out this video to the left or check out my music to the right. Just drop some new shit, all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. Add that to y'all playlist and stream it while you sleep. Yes, while you sleep. I'll get it on the next one and I'm gone. T-Bot Peter.